Panther people, what up? Let's get the weekend started off right with a mock draft with trades after the first couple waves of free agency. Let's freaking go. The draft is just over a month away in Detroit, Michigan. Might still try to sneak away so I can get there for day 2 because that's going to be fireworks. I'm telling you, especially judging by what I'm seeing with these mock drafts that I'm doing. Again, these mock drafts is one that's going to be on Pro Football Focus. I did it previously because I don't think you guys want to watch me hum and haw and blah, 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 and just make picks and, look up players, all this stuff. So I did the mock draft already. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully you can see it right here. I'm going to try to superimpose the results of the mock draft just over my shoulder here. So I'm just going to read out what happened. And I'm telling you, this one was absolutely crazy. All right, so the Panthers, I did not trade the 33rd overall pick, although that could very well happen if guys like Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. or another, maybe an Adonai Mitchell drops out of the first round. And then you got all these quarterbacks heading into the second round, and then some QB needy teams, whether it's the Vikings or the New England Patriots, if they choose to go skill position players in the first round, they'd be calling Dan Morgan like, hey, can we get that 33rd overall pick? And then the wheeling and dealing. Anyways, that didn't happen on this. I sticked and picked at 33, and somehow Adonai Mitchell, who is shooting up the charts right now, and most mock drafts that the professionals do, he's not making it out of the first round, but somehow he makes it out of the first round. Adonai Mitchell with the 33rd overall pick. He is a true number 1 wide receiver, I believe, for the Panthers. You can almost jettison a guy like Adam Thielen or keep him around to be, the old head in the room, and now trading for like a 7th round pick might not be worth it. His worth is more in the locker room from what he has up here. So you got Adonai Mitchell with the 33rd overall pick out of Texas. He ran faster than we thought he would in the combine. And he is they got to have to work on his competitiveness when the ball is not necessarily planned to go to him. But I think that could be coached in. That could be coached in 100% because they need dogs on this team. And if you're not a dog, you're not going to be here for long. Now, I did trade down from the 39th pick by 1 pick, and I grabbed a next year's second. And so with the 40th overall pick, I picked an edge rusher. And again, it's going to be tough to replace Brian Burns, no doubt. But we'll see what Jadeveon Clowney does. We already got DJ Wanham on one side, so why not get Iowa State's Adisa Isaac, who can make his way onto the bookend and on the defensive line for the Carolina Panthers. And we can see what he does with that. He's a twitchy dude, a big dude. See what he helps with there. And again, now we found the quarterback. Now it's just going to be throwing darts to see who's our defensive end now for the future. So this doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense. So in the 3rd round, the 65th pick in the 3rd round, so the first overall pick in the 3rd round, I don't know how this guy still managed to fall to the 3rd round. Maybe it's because he had one real season of production without really looking at the context and the environment that he was in. Maybe because he is a body type wise and the way he plays wise, he is for some of you, if you see it on paper, you think is this Jonathan Mingo 2.0? But he is gaining the love of draft analysts all over the place, and that is he is a man among boys. He's like 6'1", 217, ran like a 4.3, 4.4 40. South Carolina's very own Xavier Legette. How did he end up at the 65th overall pick? Judging by what people are saying about him in the last couple of weeks, what they're saying about him and how he could be a first-round pick, how he could be a stud wide receiver. I mentioned it in the last Panthers post. He could be an A.J. Brown type in the next level. So somehow we're walking away with A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Legette. Honestly, that's a pretty sweet wide receiver room. You got Deontay Johnson, you got Adam Thielen, you got Amir Smith-Marset, and then you got you got A.D. Mitchell, and then you got Xavier Legette. That is a stacked wide receiver room. A million times better than last year. Sure, as someone said in the comments below, I'm sniffing that hopium, but that looks a little bit more like hope. That looks like something real. All right, after that, we still got to get a pass-catching tight end. So with the 101st pick, I pick up Ohio State's Cade Stover. I picked him up as well. I still think Tommy Tremble can develop. He could be almost like that veteran in the room if somehow we let go of Ian Thomas. But Ian Thomas is still valuable in the run blocking game. And as we know from what Dave Canales wants to do, he is a run no matter what kind of guy. And so Cade Stover could learn the best he can under Tommy Tremble. Maybe he goes to the tight end with Greg Olsen and everybody to try to pick up some things from the pros. But I think he could be a good pickup with the 101st overall pick. Now, I traded down a couple more times after this. I started getting wild with the trades. So with a 145th pick, I traded down. And the only reason why I got this guy, because my dude, Unnecessary Bluntness, and Damian Parson from the Draft Network and the and the what is it? What was the Lockdown Draft podcast? They had an amazing live stream. I think it was an hour and a half of just football goodness. And this guy right here, Dane Parsons, brought up Arkansas center Bo Limmer. He was brought on to him late. He looked him up, and he's this dude. If he's Dame's dude, he's my dude. And if he was still available, the 145th overall pick, I'm going to take him. And so because we know we got Austin Corbett moving into center. We don't know how he's going to do. Maybe he does. Maybe with the scheme, he excels, but he is getting up there in age. He's not an old dude, not an old head, but it wouldn't hurt to train someone and have someone under his tutelage in a Bo Limmer. The Jackson Powers guy probably not going to be available with the 33rd overall pick. But if Dane Parsons, who is a stud in the draft community, says that Bo Limmer is his guy and he could be a great depth piece and a great value pick in the later rounds, and he's still there, I'm taking him. All right, so now again, the later round starts getting a little wild. So I try to add some depth a little bit to the edge, try to add some competition to second-year defensive end DJ Johnson. So the 203rd pick, I'm picking up edge Zion Tapula-Fatui from the University of Washington. All right, I'm part of the AAPI community. Any Polynesian dude who's out there who's playing defensive or offensive line, I'm taking you because they're dogs. One of the dog mentality, we got to fill that. Polynesian guys, they know how to play ball. They ball out. University of Washington in the college football playoff. I'm taking you. Speaking of, I'm double dipping in the University of Washington with a 240th pick. I'm picking up a running back, Dylan Johnson. The guy's 5'11", 220 pounds. I thought he was a difference maker for the Washington Huskies. I think he's a battering ram. I think he's a nice complement to what we got with Chuba Hubbard and Raheem, as well as, I already forgot his name because I don't even think he's going to do much. I hope he does. But Sanders as well. I hope he does good things. Raheem Blackshear. He's a scat back. I think everyone in the RB room right now kind of does the same thing. I think Dylan Johnson is a great straight line runner. He is a power dude, despite the fact he's less than 6 feet, but I think he packs a punch. You can pack some muscle on him as well, and you do not want to tackle a guy like that in the fourth quarter. So again, here's a wrap of my mock draft to start off your weekend. So somehow I got A.D. Mitchell, Adisa Isaac, and Xavier Legette in the first 3 picks in the second and third rounds, respectively. Tight end Cade Stover to add some depth and some youth, and probably to add a little bit more dynamic aspects to the offense as well. Bo Limmer, offensive, he's a center. Again, add some depth to the offensive line. Maybe they can coach him up to play guard as well, but just to back up Austin Corbett just in case. He had a couple injuries last year, so you never know. You got edge, Zion Tapula-Fatui. If he didn't go to university, I'm pretty sure he went to University of Washington. And then double dip in the Pacific Northwest and get a power back in Dylan Johnson. So that's quick hits, mock draft on a Friday. Let me know what you guys thought about that one. I'm going to try to do one once every week. I appreciate you guys. Do you like what I did? Do you not like what I did? Should I never be a GM? Should I just stop doing everything I'm doing right now? Let me know. If you agree with it, that's even better. And again, if you're new here, like, subscribe, spread the word. See you guys soon.